The main drama of surrender was over. Now, throughout the Japanese Empire, in 5 designated surrender regions, the field armies of Japan laid down their guns. All enemy forces in China yielded to Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek. Those in Manchuria and northern Korea to the Soviets. In the Burma theater, East Indies and Southwest Pacific, they gave up to Admiral Mountbatten and the Australian commander. Admiral Nimitz took the surrender in the Central Pacific. And General MacArthur in Japan, Southern Korea, and the Philippines. High in Luzon, in misty Baguio, a great moment came for Generals Wainwright and Percival. They, who had been forced to raise the white flag in 1942, now saw an arch foe capitulate. General Yamashita, the notorious Tiger of Malaya, who was later executed for his war crimes. Wake Island. All America was moved by reverent pride at the news that Old Glory flew once more over that tiny atoll in the Central Pacific. Here, where the Marine Corps had again immortalized itself by its heroic defense, wreckage still remained of the handful of Grumman Wildcats that had helped fight off an entire Jap task force for 14 days. Throughout the Pacific area and Asia, liberated peoples celebrated in wild rejoicing. For these were the hours of reckoning and of rescue. Rescue, not alone for oppressed peoples, but also for Allied prisoners of war who had endured hardships and atrocities in hundreds of PW camps. Survivors of Bataan and Wake, Singapore and Hong Kong, men from ships sunk at sea or planes shot down in combat, awakened at last from a nightmare of hunger and brutality. The world, already shocked at the horrors of German concentration camps, shuddered as Japanese barbed wire gave up its living dead. The savagery, filth, and starvation were reminiscent of the death camps at Buchenwald and Belsen. Victims brought forth the living evidence of beating with bats, rifle butts, and bamboo rods. Red Cross packages were nearly all stolen by the guards. Death claimed many of the 200,000 Allied prisoners. But for those who lived to see the day of liberation, there was freedom at last. And cheering news for thousands of homes the world over. Owing to the Jap trick of not reporting numerous Allied prisoners, men long believed dead could now flash the happy word of their survival. The rescued were moved from the Japanese shore to waiting hospital ships. For them, even more than for their comrades in arms, the victory was complete. Yes, victory was complete. Now Japan, a prisoner of the United Nations, was to learn the meaning of submission. Her armies were disarmed and disbanded. Her weapons destroyed. Her war leaders on trial for their lives. The flag that ruled Japan was no longer the rising sun. And the supreme authority had passed from a Jap known as Hirohito to an American named MacArthur. A new day had dawned for Japan, a grim day of disillusionment and hardship, of hard work and atonement for its crimes against the world. Yet, even for guilty Japan, there was hope. For VJ Day was, in a way, a day of victory for the people of Japan, too. It meant liberation from the military overlords, the feudal system and warlike ideals that had led them to give fanatical devotion to a hopeless, costly war. Even as a conquered enemy, the Jap is enjoying greater freedom under his new bosses than he had ever known under his native rulers. Greater freedom to read and write different political opinions, to argue and criticize on public street corners, on the air, by petition, and by the ballot. It is neither softness nor laxity on our part. It is instead a carefully guided and supervised revolution in the Japanese way of life.
It is my earnest hope